Do you realize that men much better than ourselves have longed to hear these words and did not hear them? Prophets rotted in prison with their ear pressed to the window, longing to hear these words. Kings and scholars searched the night skies, longing for the day when the Messiah would come and set things straight and teach men about God. And it is our privilege. As I have always said, we are the most privileged people on the face of the earth. But I also want to talk to you about the responsibility that is ours to obey such teaching. To whom much is given, much is required. Your privilege is great, and your responsibility is equal to your privilege. For some of you, I don't want to seem harsh, it would have been better that you never heard of Christ. For some of you, it would be better that you never had this book or these words, because you treat them so lightly. And we can become so dull at heart. I have been preaching for longer, as Brother Jeff said, than some of you have been alive. But do you realize that when young Matt Fowler got up here and preached, it tore my soul in two? Lord, do you look in my heart and find no loyalty? Lord, do I serve you for the sake of ministry? Lord, do I serve you for your protection? Lord, do I serve you for my family? Lord, if you took everything away from me, would I follow thee? Because, Lord, when the smallest trial comes to me, I grumble. I am not as righteous as Job. You see, especially for you young guys out there, so full of zeal and so full of desire to do the right thing. I so appreciate that. I applaud what God's done in your life. But realize this, 25 years from now, you're going to be much more unholy than you are today. At least in your own estimation. And any time a word is spoken, any time a person or a prophet or the tiniest member of the church stands up and says something's wrong, you're going to look at your own heart and say, is it I, Lord? Is it I? We have a great responsibility. Also, we're going to learn from this what true Christianity and true Christian discipleship looks like. We got a good taste of it the last hour. And hopefully we'll be able to build upon that. Also, we're going to look at the true goal and greatest endeavor of the Christian life. And do you know what that is? Conformity to the image of Jesus Christ. A godly character. You have one problem. It is your lack of Christ-like character. If you have problems with your parents, you have one problem. A lack of Christ-like character. If you have problems with your wife, you have one problem. A lack of Christ-like character. I have been among those, and I still do, pray for power. And I pray for the unction of the Holy Spirit. And I pursue those things. But Paul Washer's greatest need is to be more like Christ and less like Him. And if I'm to pursue anything, it shouldn't be ministry. It should be the character of Jesus Christ. He goes on. We're going to learn something of what it means to be salt and light in this world. We hear so many militant things about how to change the world. But the world is not changed through militant organizations or conservative politics. The world is changed through a godly man, through a godly woman, through the youngest among us who has desired one thing, and that is to be like Jesus Christ. You want to be great preachers? Then you want something that's not very worthy. You want to be mightily used of God? You're putting the cart before the horse. Your greatest want should be Christ and conformity to Him. Not in some super spiritual, monastic sort of way, but to live in a real world with other real people doing real mundane things, but just like Jesus Christ would do them. We're also going to test the validity of our own profession of faith. You see, the Beatitudes are something that we ought to strive for. All these characteristics, we ought to strive for them. But you need to realize something. The old preachers also used them as a standard of measure to determine someone's conversion. You see, if you are born again, you will be salt. You can't help it. If you are born again, you will be a light. And if you are born again, these things will be found in your life. Even though in their development they may be immature, even though in your struggle against sin it may be 2 steps forward and 3 steps back, but nevertheless, if you are truly born again, people are going to see these characteristics in your life in ever-increasing measure. And now I'm not talking about a race of 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years. I'm talking about a race of a lifetime. That over the full course of your life, both men and angels are going to be able to see you truly were born in Zion, because these characteristics God has been working in your life throughout your life. Now, let's go to the first phrase. When Jesus saw the crowds. Now, this phrase is found in several places in Matthew. Let me read it to you. Matthew 14:14. He saw a large crowd and felt compassion for them and healed their sick. Matthew 15:32. And Jesus called his disciples to him after seeing this large crowd and said, I feel compassion for the people because they have remained with me now 3 days and have nothing to eat. And I do not want to send them away hungry, for they might faint on the way.